Like if I'm going to serve you I have to give you the papers to let you know to come to court,
Right.
and I have to give it to you at your real address. Steve admitted that he knew it. In other words, he knew it, that where Kyle lived now, and sent it purposefully to Kyle's old address.
Oh fuck.
So the court made a ruling giving Steve the channel and everything, and now Kyle came back and said, "Well, this guy lied and sent it to my old address." And then the video is playing of Steve saying, "Yeah, I sent it to Kyle's old address."
Is that admissible though? I mean, do they care about it, like him saying something on a random YouTube channel?
Well, it was actually Kyle. It was actually his old address too. It was his old address.
He really.
So
did
what happens?
Right.
Yeah. So Kyle is saying it was my old address, and the plaintiff is saying he sent it purposefully to my old address. So that's the reason why he didn't show up to the lawsuit.
Oh.
Yeah.
But does Steve saying that on a YouTube channel like mean anything to them though? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, as long as it can be authenticated that this was done this time at this time, and yes, so it is admissible. You can't say stuff on videotape and just not to be ignored.
Yeah.
Oh.
The current address, not the old one. And they're just lying on the YouTube video.
Damn. Why did he say that then?
Because he's a fucking idiot. That's the reason why. You know, I don't know why you would say you're lying to the court on video, but he said it. You know, I played it in that video. I played him lying to, you know, I played it.
So he testified before the court too that he sent it to his current address.
Yeah, what happens is to start your action, Steve has to send it to Kyle's current address. Yeah, he had to serve it to his current address. And then they ask you to certify that, yeah, this was the defendant's current address. So then after he certified it under penalty of perjury that, yeah, I sent it to his current address, then he went on a stream and somebody was saying, well, you doxed Kyle because you put out there that that's his current address. And Steve said, no, that's not his current address. That's actually his old address. And that's why I didn't dox him.
That's really.
I was about to say that that's actually perjury, but you just said it yourself. So it's
yeah,
not contempt of court, it's perjury, which is much worse than contempt of court.
Well, it'll be harder for them to get him for perjury because it's like, but you know, you could get a contempt citation because he effectively lied to the court and got a court order for Kyle to turn everything over to him, and Kyle started turning everything over and was like, hold on, wait, I never got served with the papers, and the reason why is he was sent address on purpose, so Kyle wouldn't know.
And so this is being considered?
No, it's in front of the judge right now. So it's about to blow up.
Nice.
It's like what do you mean right now? Just like today or just it's...
Yeah, today Kyle went to the court, filed a motion with the court and to do two things, to dismiss the case, either outright. So Steve can't bring it on because he committed this willful act of dishonesty, or to allow him to challenge the case. Now, the good thing about both of those things is that if the court, well, the court generally is going to have to do it. It's like a 90% chance they're going to do this. So either way, Steve loses all the money that he's already put in, about $10,000 for legal fees. He loses all that and then has to pay new legal fees to restart the case.
Would he have to pay Kyle's legal fees?
If
any?
Kyle is asking for him to pay all his legal fees.
Oh my god, this would be like the biggest. Oh my god, that would be the most insane turn of events. I mean,
yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive on Unirock's channel going through the paperwork. But right now, as it stands, it looks like Kyle has done two things. He said Steve owes him $10,000 in back money from the show, and now he's saying Steve committed perjury for the channel, and that Steve's action should be dismissed with prejudice, meaning he can't bring it back, or you should let him refile and those all Steve's attorney's fees away, and then pay Kyle attorney's fees because he lied to the court to say that he served him properly. So that's what's going on now.
This is so messed up, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. Do you believe that Kyle... I mean, is this just basically let's just try and see what we can do, technicality, or do you think that he honestly fucking
No, this
didn't
happens. Oh, well, it's not about knowing. That's the thing. I think a lot of people think.
I'm
They
not
think it's-
asking like if in regards to whether or not a verdict should or shouldn't happen. I'm just curious, what do you think is actually the case?
Oh, I think Kyle probably knew about the lawsuit. He just probably didn't show up, right? He just like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'm gonna have to show up, and he got the default judgment. And he looked and now but on Union Rock Shield, he kept saying I didn't get any of the paperwork, and I'm thinking when he looked into it, he was like, well, if you didn't get any of the paper, where was he sending it to? And if you look at all the documents, he was sending it to his old address, his mom's house. So all the documents have been sent there. And the reason why I think that triggered Kyle this time is because the last letter that Steve said, he sent the nasty gram like 2 days ago, like, I want this, I want that. But he sent it to his mom's house, and he was like, oh, you've been sending it to the wrong address. And that's when it all blew up. Okay, so when you look at the court statutes and everything, it says if they sent it to the wrong address, the case should be dismissed and thrown out, and he has to start again. So that's what Kyle, and he and all the case laws are on Kyle's side. So it looks like that's going to happen.
Oh my god, dude. You don't understand. Like, Steve has already done like multiple celebration streams, and we've won titled streams, and they've all been like drinking and celebrating.
Yeah, but this is it's a kerfuffle, to say the least. To say the least.
What was the
So
nasty
Kyle,
gram?
but now it was about the financials, but now Kyle has to do two things. Well, Kyle had to do one thing. Let's say Steve didn't admit it. Kyle would just have to simply show that he didn't live there. So, and Kyle has rent receipts and other bills and stuff to show that he actually didn't live at the address they were sending it to. So that generally would be enough to get it reversed anyway. But now with the admission that he sent it to the wrong address on purpose, then he may get he may get Steve in trouble for two reasons. One, the perjury issue, and two, that the judge may dismiss his case with perjury, with prejudice, so Steve can never bring it back up again, and would allow Kyle to sue Steve. And if Kyle chooses to sue Steve at a cross complaint, then Steve wouldn't be able to sue Kyle for anything. So in other words, if everything works out the way Kyle wants to work out, he can sue Steve, but Steve wouldn't even be able to sue him.
Counter sue, right?
Correct.
That would be ridiculous. Oh, can you imagine how salty Steve would be? Oh my god.
Well, Steve knows about this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his lawyers are freaking out too, because also too, the one thing too is that the lawyers were the ones who signed the service, so there may be ethical issues with them too, because they signed saying that he was properly served, and now you have the client saying that he knew that they served the wrong address. So the first question you ask the lawyers is, did you know that it was the wrong address too? Because if that is, then you have an ethical issue, and you could be disbarred for that.
They're gonna say no.
Jesus. So has there been any comment from Steve yet?
Well, the only comment that I saw was from Reds, and Reds was saying, well, Kyle knew about the lawsuit, but that's they don't understand the process.
They can't prove that, right?
But no, even if you can prove, like somebody could say, hey Nate, I'm suing you. You can say it all you want, but service of process is a technical legal matter where I have to give you the actual papers to start the lawsuit. So if I can know that you're suing me, but until I get those papers, then actually you're not suing me at all. So it really doesn't matter if Kyle knew he was being sued or not. It only matters if he got the papers in the proper way. And it's obvious he did, because Steve knew he sent it to the wrong address. Oh yeah, and there may be sanctions too, since he actually got an order based on this fraudulent statement. There may be sanctions for Steve.
What's that
And the
mean?
fact that Kyle, well, there could be monetary damages to the court. There could be fines, because the court sent an order for Kyle, and Kyle did it, and it was based on Steve's fraudulent assertion that he served him properly.
Jesus, man. Oh man, I can't wait to hear what Steve says. What do you think he's gonna say? What do you think his reaction is gonna be?
Kyle's lawyer, Nate's a troll. Oh my God, blah 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 blah. You know the normal.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Is there a Steve McRae stream scheduled for today? I might want to see him freak out a little bit.
Well, if he's talking to his lawyer's going to say two things. You better shut the fuck up, number one.
That's
Because
not
going
gonna
out there, and number two, if this is true with this admission, Kyle may not be our problem. It may be the courts, because the courts, it'll be a lie to the court.
Yeah, when Kyle first came and said, "Hey, I got a lawyer. I've lawyered up," and then he proceeded to do like a 2-hour clear the air, and this is what's actually going on. I knew he was full of bullshit. There was no lawyer at that point. The first fucking thing a lawyer would say is like, "Look, you don't say anything anymore. They talk to me. You don't say anything to anyone. I handle everything." You think he's saying, "Oh, unless you want to go on YouTube and blast everything, that's okay"? No, they're not saying that.
No, you're 100% right. I tell all of my clients, if you talk, you might as well fire me, because I don't want, we want to win in the courtroom. I don't care about the public opinion. Public opinion is great, but it's only great after you get your money and your judgment. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing you can do is by all these this talkies hurt the case. And now Steve has fundamentally hurt his case, because even, let's say, if the judge says, okay, it's not that bad, let's just restart, Steve's credibility now is totally shot. He is not a credible witness. And if everything's on his side, then it's going to be extremely hard for him to win this case, because Kyle's only thing he has to say is, he lied and said he served me correctly. I want that to be in the record, that he's a liar. So his case is extremely hurt. But he has somebody, he's already paid about $10,000 to $15,000 for this case. And now, if this is reverted, then he's going to have to pay about $10,000 to $15,000 to restart it. And I don't know if they're going to do that, knowing that there's no money. I'm going to be honest with you too. I'm thinking it's either Kyle is the luckiest person in the world, or something is up. And the reason why is the books showed that there was no money in their accounts, and that Steve owes $10,000 to Kyle, right? But now, if you're Steve, because Steve he has a benefactor who's paying all the bills. But now that benefactor knows that there's absolutely no money in the accounts, because they were hoping to get back some money. So if there's no money in the accounts, would you now want to put another $15,000 into the lawsuit that there's absolutely no money there? So it's a masterstroke. It's a masterstroke. Lucky, but it's a masterstroke.
Who's the benefactor?
Ruhef.
Right.
Huh.
I think Kyle's a evil genius, mastermind.
Why are people saying in the chat that Kyle signed saying he got served? What did they say? What are they talking about? They're saying the court record shows that he signed for it.
Yeah, see, that's incorrect. If you look at his signature, I had it up on the stream today. If you look at Kyle's signature, the signature who signed for it, it was his mom. They sent it to his mom's house. So that's his mom's signature. And if you put both the signatures up together, you can see they're totally two different signatures. One is Susan Curtis, and the other one's Kyle Curtis. So yeah, so it was his mom's signature.
Oh my god.
They served his mom with the lawsuit.
Why would the person that was serving give it to her? Isn't that like,
because
that's like, oh, you had one job type thing? I mean, like if they say
if that was his valid address, then it would have counted. Still.
Yes, if that was his valid address, then you can give it to an adult who's at the address, and it would have counted. But since it wasn't, but that only applies if it's your valid address. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, the lawyers do have some problems here, because whenever you're suing someone out of state, the number one thing you want to do is have personal service, because that person who's from out of state may not know, the town, the place, and may not know that, like if I'm saying, meet him, he lives on 3rd Street, you just don't know. So it's always best to do personal service if you have like an out-of-state client and he's suing somebody in your state. But they chose to do mail service, and with mail service, the rules is that you can serve somebody at the house, but it has to be their address. And if it is their address, any adult that takes it, it's good. But if it's not their address, then you fucked up. So that's what happened here. It was actually not his address, and he can prove that it wasn't his address. And now he can also prove that Steve knew it wasn't his address and served anyway.
Jesus. Why are people in the chat now saying that it wasn't his mom that signed? I mean, you looked at the signatures. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can go look at them now. You go on the court's website and look at the two signatures, and you can see them for yourself. They're totally different signatures. One says Susan Curtis, and the other one says Kyle Curtis. It's not even it's not even close.
Why?
What? Who is speaking? You're cutting out.
I'm. Why did wrong?
Yeah, dude, it's not gonna work. Sorry.
I didn't see who it was.
Dragnauct, what do you make of this?
I mean, he probably has to stop laughing before he unmutes.
Yeah, and all the anti-Steve people or the Steve quote trolls should have their own party tonight and just name it the opposite of what Steve named his, like, you know, victory or whatever it was.
Well, don't forget, Kyle hasn't really won anything as of yet, you know, because the judge still has to rule, but it's a very much likely, because this happens all the time.
It didn't stop Steve.
Well, Steve did get a judgment, I think, before he really started celebrating.
Yeah. Well, if he got a judgment, isn't it over? No?
That's what's being contested.
No, because he's got a judgment under the false pretenses. That's exactly what's been happening. But
Okay.
This happens all the time. This happens all.
So can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. I think it's fucking hilarious that Steve and all his dick suckers are like, they did all the fucking victory laps and shit like that. Meanwhile, me, Nate, and a few other people kind of already knew what was happening, and we're just waiting. And it's like, Steve has got to be one of the biggest fucking idiots on the internet. You admit to doing malfeasance when you know this shit's recorded. Like, he's got, like, you really think about that shit. Everybody in here knows that if you have a legal case, shut the fuck up. But no, Steve is the fucking pinnacle of brilliance. And so now his entire case might be fucked based on his own fucking word. But I guarantee you, you're going to hear Nick Suter, you're going to hear Red, you're going to hear all these other fucking people who don't know shit about law try to explain away a judge's decision to throw away his fucking case. I'm making that prediction right now.
Wait, what's your prediction?
Redline, Nick Suter, and a few other people who have no actual like legal knowledge
Right.
are going to find a way to say that the judge is wrong for throwing out Steve's case, even though Steve has lied about the service to Kyle for all the original fucking documents. Like, they're coming up with all types of excuses already without having actually read any of it. And they're repeating the same stupid shit. But they don't realize that, again, some of us knew about this ages ago and we're just waiting. And so there's still fun stuff to come, and watching them try to like counter what they think is being said without actually reading any of the documents is fun, because if they actually took time to read the documents, they find out some really interesting things, and they probably wouldn't say half the shit that they're saying. But I don't expect them to do anything other than kiss Steve's dick and believe whatever he says. So
Yeah, there's gonna be apologetics for sure.
You said that there's already been some drag. Where have you seen this?
there's if you follow some of them on Twitter, all of them have me blocked, so I just get screenshots. But there's a lot of Steve apologetics. It's you know, Nate said earlier, Redline say, oh, Kyle knew about it. Well, it doesn't matter whether you knew. Like, there's a procedure in law. It has nothing to do with that. And so his fucking retarded ass.
The justice, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. Like, you understand when, you know, this is not my field. I'm getting this information from one lawyer, the lawyer that's in here, and then there are other people that we know that have experience in this very field. And it's real funny that they haven't picked up on this isn't something random. You know, some people, this is a Hail Mary. Not really. It is Steve fucked himself, and now it's kind of coming to terms.
It's just crazy. I've been
So
following
let
it.
me let you guys know what the process real quick, because I'm gonna have to run out of here. But the process going forward now is he's put this thing out, right? Kyle has now filed the motion, and the court has taken it as soon as they took it. He actually mislabeled it, but as soon as the court saw it, they relabeled it and said, no, this is a motion to set aside this judgment because it's clear that that's what that is. So now Steve's lawyers are going to respond to that motion. They're going to say either it's right or it's wrong. And then Kyle is going to reply to that motion with 4 clips of Steve saying how he actually knew that he was serving the wrong address. And then and so that's the process that's going to be going forward.
It's funny because he probably said that to try and address what it sounded like there was a doxing accusation or something. So in order to like not be seen as an internet bad guy doxer, he's basically admitted to knowingly
defrauding the court.
Something.
That's
Like he's either a liar or he's either defrauding the court. There's you can't have, it's one or the other. He can't weasel his way out of both of those, right? But you have to consider his audience. His audience is fucking stupid. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. There's one guy who actually thinks that super chatting him was an investment to the business of fucking non sequitur show, like an actual like legal investment. It's
Well,
like no, you're.
There is a way it could be. I guess it couldn't be. Okay, if he said that. Well, the statement that's in question is saying no. This was his old address, so he just has to reconcile that at the time of him saying that he is aware that that's his old address. But when he sent and supposedly Kyle was served, he was under the impression that that was his current address, and then he would be neither.
Yeah, but he's now got to prove that that is the case. The fact of the matter is, he said it multiple times that because the issue was
He's cutting out.
Yeah, sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, the issue was.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I apologize. Yeah. So the hold on. I now lost my train.
You were saying the issue was ...
Okay. Sorry. about that.
Improper service.
Yeah. And he's gone again.
Internet shit. Yeah. So the issue is it's improper service, right? So if you're saying that I've served this person and I certify it. So that certification that was sent up was a verification that I know that this person currently lives at this address. And then his lawyer had to also confirm that. So that's the problem. So he can claim at the time that he was under that impression, but given the timestamp of those clips, that more than likely contradicts what he says, because to go after and say, well, I knew that wasn't the case. Well, it just says that you're lying and you either deceived your lawyer or your lawyer's complicit in the deception of the court. But it's less on kind of how we can kind of finagle and interpret it and parse his statements, but how a judge views that, because the judge is probably going to go, I'm not playing these fucking games with you, right? You're stating this publicly multiple times, and now you're telling me, well, no, it's this and that, and you're hemming and hawing. Something tells me a judge is going to be less lenient than his audience.
I just so you guys have the proper context of what actually happened in terms of this doxing thing. Mr. Atheist had made the claim that Steve had doxed Kyle, right?
Oh my goodness.
And then Steve was responding to the claims that he had doxed Kyle because and Mr. Atheist specifically said you doxed Kyle because when you filed the lawsuit, the return receipt on the lawsuit papers was Kyle's address. And then Steve said no, he didn't dox Kyle because that address on that return receipt was an old address. Now, the return receipt we're talking about was the proof that Steve presented to the court that he served Kyle at his actual address.
Right.
So if Steve knew that document that he submitted to the court to prove that was Kyle's current address was really his old address, as he said, then he's defrauded the court.
Fuck. And what if Kyle like counter sues or whatever, and then he has to pay for all Kyle's lawyer fees, and Steve ends up paying Kyle money? That would be retarded.
Well, I think the worst part about this is that everything that Kyle has turned over, if this thing does, because again, the judge can say no, but if this thing does go back or it does have to be redone, then Steve has to then turn over all the stuff that Kyle's given him back to Kyle. So everything has to go back to Kyle.
Oof.
And
You said
also,
there-
they wouldn't be 50-50 partners anymore.
So you could just start doing the non sequitur again with full
Yes,
control
by himself.
right?
Correct.
Without any like sort of Damocles over his head or something. He could just proceed normally.
Until Steve to sue him again.
That's awesome. This
And you
this,
said that there's no money there anyway, right?
Exactly. That's the masterstroke, because now you got somebody who's paying tens of thousands of dollars. They assumed that they were going to pay 10,000 to get 40,000 back, but now you're paying 10,000. You got to pay another 10,000 to get absolutely nothing back, and the fact that now your main witness, or the main person that you're relying on the lawsuit with, has no credibility, because they've now defrauded not Kyle, but they defrauded the court. So.
If Steve ultimately fails in how we're outlining here, I think this will forever be known as the McRae maneuver.
Did you guys know it's Onision? I don't know if you guys know Onision when he tried when he did the service to the wrong person for this is exactly what this is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
So
Minus from Chris Hansen.
Yeah, minus Chris.
we got to get Chris Hansen in on this, man. So hold on, this already happened and it played out to completion, and someone was trying to sue this guy, and he said someone didn't serve him properly, and the whole thing just got thrown out.
That's for Onision? Yeah, for Onision, he served the wrong person, and the person had to write to the court saying, "Hey, I am not the Chris Hansen you're talking about." And it was like a big laugh, like, "Oh, you sued the totally wrong person." So he had he paid all those legal fees and stuff to sue the wrong person. So that's what happened.
And the financials, the books, they all are legit, seem legit. It all adds up.
They seem okay, but it doesn't matter at this point, because if the lawsuit is fugazi, then the whole shit is is not like the books and all that stuff. It's irrelevant because he wasn't served properly. So it's done. And
Right.
lucky for Kyle, he didn't notarize that submission of the books, and that lack of the notary was good, because if he notarized it, then he would have been doing it under penalty of perjury. But for him not notarizing it, then it's just a blank letter to the court. So even you still don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Do you think this is all intentional? How much of this was like intentional? I mean, this is just, I think it's just fucking lucky.
Yeah, the guy slipped on a banana peel and fucking hit the lotto. That's kind of what happened here. He slipped on a fucking banana peel and hit the fucking lotto.
Oh my
Kyle?
god. Steve is, if Steve hears that, his blood's gonna fucking.
He's got to know, because his first call should have been this morning to the fucking lawyer. What are you talking about? He's motion to set aside the judgment. He just like, oh, well, he's saying you sent it to the wrong address. Oh, well, that was his old address. Yeah. You sent his old address, then yeah, we got a problem. And if it's true what Steve is saying, see, generally as an attorney, I would eat that. Like if I was in charge of the process serving, that's why I do it personally. I pay my guy $50, go to this motherfucker's job and hand him the paper, and then we're good. But with this, because they mailed it, they were relying on Steve. So if let's say if it was the attorney's fault, like if it's my fault, then I have to eat the cost. But if it's the client's fault, then you eat the cost. You got to pay me again to fix the shit. So right now, Steve are probably going to have to eat the cost and then pay another 10 grand to have the attorneys redo it again. Because again, the attorneys are in trouble too, because they, let this whole thing go through under penalty of perjury. And if this guy told them that he was singing to an old address, then they may have a.
Mm-hmm. You think Mr. Atheist didn't know what he was doing when he accused Steve of doxing?
That'd be the long game, though. You're talking about months ago. That would be that'd be the long game. That's a hell of a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Let this get as far as it can, and then just fucking just nuke it.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I gotta run because I got the kids in the car. But
Yeah.
if I'll be around later, so give me a holler at me.
Yeah,
anytime you
come
need me,
on
Tom.
later, man. I know we got some people who love this stuff like Ray, so thanks for coming by, man. Subscribe to Nate Broady, guys, on YouTube.
Thanks, Nate.
Thanks a lot,
No
Nate, man.
problem, guys. Tom, I love you. I'll see you soon.
Love you too, bro. Later.
That was tender.
Jesus. Claire, are you driving a washing machine or something like that?
No, that's my turn signal. Sorry.
That's your turn signal?
I didn't know
Yeah,
what
it's
a mate
fast.
I didn't know what a Maytag sounds like when it's idling at a red light.
Sounds like a conveyor belt.
You still don't know what a
Conveyor belt.
Maytag sounds like. Since when have you done laundry?
Oh.
He's Asian. What are you talking about?
See, I specifically wasn't going to go there, and then you went there.
I had to explain your joke. Sorry.
That wasn't my joke, though.
Oh, come on,
I
guys.
said, since when do you do laundry?
Right, you were being
Purposely-
ironic.
Purposely steering away from the trope.
Silence in the YouTube chat. Yo, Silent Man. We miss you, buddy.
Silent with a C.
Oh, he's in here?
Silent, stop being a nerd and come back.
YouTube chat.
I need someone to yell mean things at Declan with me.
Wow. I can't wait for the reaction from the Steve.
So, can somebody give me the TLDR of this whole conversation?
You know what's gonna happen? It's just gonna be like, yo, here's what nefarious, underhanded, evil, dishonest shit Kyle's up to. And then it's gonna be like, okay, so boys, this war, here's gonna be the spin. I have and always have fought for truth, justice, and what I feel is right. So I'm not giving this up. I don't care care what happens. I'm not giving it up because I'm gonna do what's right. And to do that, I'm gonna need super chats. I'm gonna need a lot of super chats starting right now in support. Hundreds, thousands of super chats. And if you super chat, you will be super chatting and donating to a cause against this evil that is spreading throughout the land. This he who shall not be named, right? We cannot let this stand. And I, Steve McRae, the great debate community, right? The Non Sequitur show, right? I need your help. I'm gonna need a lot of help. I'm gonna need help in form of dollars, Japanese yuan, Korean won, everything, all different types of currency from, all throughout the globe.
Even titties.
Yeah, and the super chats will start coming
Titties
in.
is a currency? How do I pay my rent with titties?
Yeah, well, it's like we must rise up.
Oh,
That'll
trust
help
me,
my
you can pay your
landlord
rent
rise
with
up.
titties.
Mm-hmm.
If I pay my rent in titties, my landlord will rise up, but doesn't do me any good.
I bet Steve is gonna say something like, "Look, I don't care what happens." That's exactly that'll probably be a quote in the next fucking live stream. He's gonna say, "I don't care about the money. I don't care what happens. Right? I'm gonna fight this. Right? It was never about the money."
I think you're very right.
I think he's gonna want to just keep fighting it. But if it is the case that some other guy is footing the bill for this, I don't know if he's gonna share the same enthusiasm for fighting for. I mean, like we all get the ain't no bitch prime directive. We all want to like do stuff in situations like this and not give up and just fucking press on, just out of principle, out of spite, out of fucking, just it's not about the fucking money. But look, we're talking about like tens of thousands of dollars just for an internet point, Who's gonna do that? You win the case, you get nothing. You lose the case, you get nothing, obviously.
Do you think anyone would do it or no?
Anybody would what?
We just the people wouldn't do it, right?
They wouldn't finance another suit, another go at the courts through the court system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's obviously some people that would. I don't know if it's gonna be the person that's spending the money now.
Okay. Why is there like 45 people in here and no one talking?
They're all just soaking it in, you know.
We're
You were
waiting for
talking.
you.
Well, I'm not gonna include myself as.
Now that you're here, we can all begin talking again.
Did you
Come
expect
again? Come
everyone
again?
to be talking at once or something?
Yeah, I kind of expected like whole like politics type of shit. I know a few people on the
No, no,
politics
no, no.
Discord server like Concrete.
We're
Oh,
not
you know,
savages
Concrete,
here.
really good member. We love him. He's actually one of the crown jewels of the server.
Politics is where the people who can't hold a conversation belong.
I agree. That's why I love to listen to him.
We get some
This is different.
spillover, but we're trying to build the levees high.
Did I hear my name?
Yeah, we're just complimenting you. Talking about how much we love you.
How do you?
I don't need any backhanded compliments, chum. Not
It's
today.
not backhanded, bro. What the fuck?
Don't compliment me.
This guy
I
said
don't-
he knows you from politics. And I was
Ooh,
like, oh,
who's that?
he's here too.
Yeah, I think I've seen you before, Concrete.
His name is a real fucking Schrodinger.
Yeah,
My
dude.
robot couldn't read it.
I'm alive and dead.
Real fucking vampire?
No, I'm a friend of Vampire though.
That's how I feel on a Monday morning.
What's going on? How you doing, bro?
Fine. I'm just not used to people like having a civil conversation.
Don't worry, it doesn't last
Well, you're
long.
about to engage Concrete.
Right, exactly.
See, what you've done is you've mistaken calmness for civility.
Concrete, I would like to engage you civilly and in good faith, and I have one question.
Go ahead.
Why do you think that the first mover argument entails a god?
That's the title for
Hold on, win, bro. Win.
Concrete, you gotta yell at the wind to stop again. It actually worked last time.
Just pray.
No, seriously, it actually worked last time. He yelled, "Stop it, wind!" and then it didn't happen again.
Yeah.
That's evidence of God.
Yeah,
It is.
Can you hear me now?
Clearly.
Definitely not an ad hoc.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Hey, real, do you notice all the sniping already? That's lack of civility.
Never mind.
Whilst
What's
being
that?
calm.
Ooh,
What's
that
sniping?
whatever you're in sounds cool. Are you in a parking garage? That sounds awesome.
All right. Anyway, so the answer to the question is that's the category of being that has eternality and power to create universes. We call those things gods. So it's definitionally
I'm
a god.
No, I'm asking for the justification for why it's a being at all.
So William Lane Craig goes through a multi-premise argument that explains why God would have, intelligence, will, agency, so on and so forth. Haven't committed it to memory, but if you're interested in the information, William Lane Craig fleshes out his Kalam cosmological argument to go from, therefore the universe had a cause to this cause is a God, and this cause is loving, this cause is intelligent, so on and so forth.
Yeah, how does he get from the cause to being a god?
I just told you that I just told you he fleshes it out, but I don't have it committed to memory. So
No. So why do you think that?
I mean, I've heard the argument and I'm convinced by it. And
may-
prior to that, well, in association with that, I have my own personal experiences with God. So
could you be nice enough to send me do you know what his actual argument is? Because I know William Lake Craig is. I've listened to him personally. I think he's a sham, and I think he's terrible. But maybe he's improved from the last time
see,
I've seen him. So could you be nice enough to at least tell me one of the premises of the argument so I can actually find it on the internet? Or
just do William Lane Craig, Kalam Cosmological, and Christian God, right? So the
William Lane
Kalam,
Craig,
Kalam,
Cosmol.
Kalam. Or as Matt Bell would
so
pronounce, the Callum.
Callum.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
so
talking about cosmological art. Okay, I get it. Okay.
so see what you did just now. You called a venerated, accredited Christian apologist a sham and a fraud. Very uncivil.
I think he is.
But you did it very calmly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what's the conclusion of William Lane Craig's Kalam, JJ? Isn't it just
I'm
like
sorry,
the
what?
unit? Huh?
What'd you say?
What's the conclusion of William Lane Craig's Kalam? Isn't it just like the universe had a beginning? Or sorry, the universe was
The
caused?
universe had
Excuse
a
me?
cause.
Yeah, sorry.
No, he's talking about how he gets to.
I'm not. Yeah, I just asked you a question, right? So the question.
No,
William
that's
Lane.
not. I would say
no.
no because his argument ends with, and that's the Christian God.
Well,
No,
isn't that
he takes the first three original points of the Kalam and he adds his own three, that the cause must be timeless, spaceless. I forget what the other ones are, but he adds three. He adds a few
Non-dependent.
Yeah, all those.
Did you say non-defendable?
right? So
Non-dependent.
why does it have to be a being?
Because he said so.
Well, why Craig says that? Are you asking Concrete? You don't know, do you?
Well, Concrete doesn't know, so I'm just...
No.
I think it's impossible to know at the time. Right
It's
now.
because there's consciousness in the universe.
That it
So
has to have a mind, and that mind must have a personality, and that personality is transcendent.
it wants to be
God.
discovered.
Well, I don't know. Does he say that?
I'm trying to
don't think
remember.
I don't think he says anything. But that's the whole transcendental thing, and so
Like-
it's a Christian God.
I think the question is, right, is okay, even if we could agree that there is like a first cause for the universe, right? Why are you necessarily assigning a consciousness to it, if that makes sense, right?
Right.
Because
That's what
at least
we were
to
just
me,
talking about.
yeah, because at least to me, right, like the only way that it can be a god is if it has a consciousness. If it's not even conscious, I don't even care.
What? So like you hate rocks because you think they don't have a consciousness?
Oh no, I'm talking specifically with the whole god concept, right?
Like,
I
Rocks
mean-
could be
a rock?
gods.
So you can see Concrete. I mean, as your interlocutor when we're discussing, I think you proposed this as an argument that proves God. It's like, as far as you and I go, in a dialogue, there's really nothing for us to talk about because all I really have is William Lane Craig said so.
And I already know people have a lot of issues with William Lane Craig, and I've actually watched some of his stuff before, and I think that he makes the necessary jumps in logic. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same thing here.
Oh, I actually could say something about this. So I've watched the clip from his debate with Jonathan Brown, I think it was, and Jonathan Brown actually brings up, so like Craig cites the Borguth-Vilenkin theorem to as evidence that the universe had a beginning according to science or whatever. And in the debate, Jonathan Brown actually has Vilenkin on video saying that it doesn't show the Borguth-Vilenkin theorem doesn't show that the universe had a beginning. Basically, only just that our ability to describe it breaks down when we get closer to the singularity event of the Big Bang. and that he thinks that the universe is likely past eternal, but there isn't any way for us to know conclusively.
Amen.
He'll also say that the Christian God just best fits the parameters that are necessary for the what he nails out as what would be contingent, what would be necessary for creating the reality. He says the Christian God through, like you've heard Darth say 1,000 times, through his own special revelation, revealing himself, fits those parameters better than any other.
Wait, was Concrete trying to run the Kalam again?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't trying to run the Kalam. He's not familiar enough with the Kalam.
No, the reason why I say that is because when Concrete first came into the community, the first argument he ran against everyone was the Kalam.
Oh shit, Yuri, do you have coronavirus? What the hell's
No.
going on with you?
No,
Although-
I think it's the common cold or something, or some type of sinus thing.
Although, again, I don't think Concrete ever really tried to run it. He would just say that that was the evidence, the Kalam, and then he would refer you to somebody else giving the argument, right? That was pretty much, and that's what he just did right here, because he admitted that he's not familiar with it. He doesn't have it committed to memory.
No,
I'm pretty
no,
sure
but
that's what he's always done, though.
No, but JJ, when Concrete first came in here, he was like, even though you could tell he really didn't know the argument, he was like running it and like it. I mean,
there was more of an attempt maybe to try. Yeah, I see that.
They call it the Kalam, but it's really kind of a dishonest representation because they've smuggled the Kalam into the William Craig editions, and they call that the Kalam now, which the Kalam is merely those first 3 points that, and then, they add the timeless, spaceless, non-dependent, whatever properties are necessary to create the universe. So it's not really the Kalam anymore, and it's dishonest to keep calling that.
I forget.
I don't think that's dishonest.
It is
How is
dishonest.
the jump from the
It's the
cause?
Kalamcrete Plus.
Yes. Well, to take an argument and say like the Kalam, I'm using the Kalam, but then you're smuggling those other things into it. It's no longer the Kalam. The Kalam is those first 3 simpliciter, not those.
Right.
I think
additional
it
points
would
of
be
William.
worse to just call it the William Lane Craig argument and actually steal the architecture from the Kalam and not show it any different.
So what's
Well,
the first
what you're
step?
supposed to do is find the name. So it'd be like the William Kalam Craig.
It's a new name.
So what is the first step after the universe had a cause? Anybody know?
I'm googling it. I fucking can't
Yeah,
find
okay,
shit.
good.
Things which
Everything that
began to
begins to
exist are
exist
caused
have
to
a cause.
exist.
Yeah.
The universe began
after-
to exist. The universe has a cause.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the
After a universe has a cause, what's the next step?
God did it. No, he's basically just says that the cause has to be sufficiently powerful, has to be timeless, spaceless, all that kind of stuff. And basically, he kind of conflates between what is it, like material cause and like logical cause, or I forget how what the conflation that he makes there is, but he equates cause with like material cause, like how a chair began to exist when you made it out of a tree.
But he says that cause has to be timeless, spaceless,
right,
etc.
Right, non-physical.
Is that what he says though?
He doesn't say non-physical specifically.
What's the word? I can't think of it. Well, he probably says immaterial, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it's got to be beginningless, uncaused, timeless, spaceless, changeless, immaterial, enormously powerful, personal creator of the universe. I can't find like
personal.
Well, take it up with William Lane Craig with his reasonable faith article.
Right.
Personal seems discordant.
Yeah, I think he's got a thing for why it has to be personal.
Yeah, so the problem is he's not formal. He's written it out like a fucking
book,
like an article instead of an argument. So I can't be fucked reading all this shit.
I know. Why read?
Readings for cowards and humans.
Real men just know everything the moment they're born.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a real man.
You're not a real man. You're a beautiful girl.
Well, you can't be both those things, Tom.
Mm-mm.
What's your argument for that?
Boys can be girls. It's okay.
Yeah, people like Kathleen, when they say that they are the ultimate Chad, is just being greedy.
Well, I will admit, Kathleen makes a better guy than a girl.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's the completed argument that Craig did.
Something awful about Orson's thank you. Just terrible.
That wasn't Orson. That was Ride.
Oh. Well, then there's something awful
Orson
about
can
Ride's
take the
thank you.
fall though.
Fuck.
Terrible to behold.
What's his website called again? Like Irrational Faith or something?
Cute.
Okay, what is that noise? What is that?
What?
Just got a
Jesus.
squirrel crawling through their
A
mic.
real fucking
Schrodinger.
Schrodinger
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Making
You're,
noise.
making noise.
you're dragging something across your microphone.
So,
Yeah,
so
there
the
you
way
go.
that
Stop
William,
that.
dick, dude.
so the way that
All the
Craig,
terrible sounds.
the way that Craig establishes personhood is just by premising it in like number 8. He just claims it.
Right, that's what I thought didn't make any sense. There's no reason that
Yeah,
was
it's
necessary.
dumb.
A theist
For the
making a
creative
claim
force.
without any foundation? I'm shocked.
It's almost as if it's like, oh, if I have like a long argument, I can sneak my premise in the middle and no one will notice.
They're assuming that this universe is also the only